Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're back with another tier list, and today we're gonna be going over, that's double today's, we're gonna be going over position 4 heroes. This is the only one I haven't covered as of late, but now I really do feel like I have a strong grasp on the important position 4 heroes that you need to know about right now. There's one in particular that I think is very, very strong. In fact, I actually think this hero is broken, and I'm not just saying that, I actually believe this. So if you're excited for today's video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, go get your Game Leap sub. Guys, it's not too late. You still have time to get your Game Leap sub. Alright, so getting into the first broken position 4, we're going to be going from broken tier all the way down to the D tier. The first one we have is Veno Jungle. Yeah, you heard that right. So this hero right now is one of the best heroes in Dota, coming in at a 69% win rate, and it's really just unstoppable in the jungle. Why? Because at the 2-minute mark, you pick up your Midas, at the 4-minute mark, you pick up your Daedalus, and at the 6-minute mark, you pick up your Dragonlance, and then you can roam around the map and kill people endlessly. If you haven't seen this happen, you should go watch OG against Liquid, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, getting into the second broken hero. This one is definitely broken, and that is Nyx Assassin. If you guys have been following the DPC, or frankly any Dota at all, just been playing pubs, you probably know that Nyx is a menace, right? This hero, it had a lot of buffs to Vendetta that really spiked it in general. So in particular, another thing that I like about Nyx right now is how he opens up the hero pool for your offlaner. Now, he's not one of the best laners in Dota, this is not generally why you play Nyx, but the hero is extremely tanky. So in a good lane, let's say you're playing with Death Prophet or Nature's Prophet, you can go very aggressive, you provide a frontline tank, and you tank the spells, you set up stuns, that's great. Then in a bad lane, let's say you're laning with an Underlord against Morphling Enchantress. I actually played that recently. Horrible lane, it's really quite bad. He can drag waves, right? He can drag waves, he can trade 1v1 with the Ench because of his high HP regen, high armor, and yeah, your lane will go okay at worst, and you'll have a good mid-game hero overall. And then the most broken hero, I really believe this is like, I don't know, I think Shaker is nuts. His shard is so stupid to play against. I actually cannot stand playing against Shaker shard, because the thing is, you have to keep in mind guys, Earthshock is a 1.5 second stun at max. Fissure is a 1.75 second stun at max, which means when you get to your shard, you have a 3.25 second stun on a 12-second cooldown, right? On a 12-second cooldown. And keep in mind, that combo does not put you at risk at all. Fissure is a huge cast range, and the W, when you have the shard, sends an aftershock across the entire Fissure so it can hit multiple heroes. Essentially, you have this massive Fissure AoE where you can stun a ton of heroes. Like Echo Slime, you know how I can hit heroes in a circle? This Fissure, you can literally hit a 5-man Fissure and just chain stun 5 heroes for 3.25 seconds and not put yourself in danger at all. Keep in mind, the shard also lets you walk over the Fissure, so if you get gone on by a Slark, just walk over the Fissure and you're fine. Wow! Also, it reduces Fissure cooldown by 2 seconds. What doesn't this shard do? It's so dumb. This hero is also a great laner similar to Nyx. Good lanes, you can set up Fissure kills, you can set up tri-lanes, and in bad lanes, you can block the wave back. It's a very versatile hero, and if you don't play greedy, you stay back, don't get over aggressive, don't die a lot in the early game, get a good blink, good shard timing, you should pop off on this hero. Now let's move on to the A tier. First off, we have Shadow Shaman. I think a lot of people might have expected this hero to be in broken. I've been thinking for a while now that it's a little bit overrated, and frankly, it's a bit of a hard hero to play. Until you have Aether Lens, Shaman can feel very, very clunky. His low cast ranges and Channeled Shackle can kind of be a problem. However, with certain heroes in lane like Beastmaster, Shaman's high right click and high armor is really something to behold. It's quite impossible to trade against, especially with a value point in that Ether Shock, which is such an effective level 1 spell. Next up we have Rubik. I don't know, like literally the day Rubik isn't an A tier is the day Dota dies. Rubik has been like an A tier hero, an A tier position 4 for like 20 years. I mean, it's just always versatile. It does what it does. It lanes very well with Mars, Lycans, Underlords. It just lanes well with basically any of the melee heroes. And there's always a decent spell to steal. It's just like, if you're good at Rubik, he's A tier. If you're not, he's not. Then we have Mirana. I really do believe that Mirana is solid right now. I don't think, you know, anything really changed with her. I think her Ags is kind of cool, where the Starfall, it shoots around the arrow. It really is quite nuts how much damage you can actually do in terms of magical damage. But the main thing is, I don't know, I think like what I really like about some of these 4 heroes like Shaker and Mirana is how versatile they make your lanes. Let me explain. So when you pick Mirana, you have really good tri-lane potential. You can pick it with the Shadow Demon, set up arrow combos, get kills. Or you can lane it with, I don't know, a Tidehunter. And even if that Tidehunter is hard countered by Slark, it doesn't really matter because you arrow the range creep, it shoves in the wave, and it's very hard for you to die or get traded with in the lane, at least in the early levels. I'm not going to say you're going to win the entire lane just because you can arrow range creeps, but it does make the early levels very, very easy. On top of that, the hero, it just has an arrow, a lot of nukes. It's kind of like Rubik. It's just good. Stun nukes. Then we have Dark Willow. I don't know, I kind of like this hero, especially Dark Willow Pango. I've been seeing this lane a bit now. I saw Secret playing it a bit. It does so much damage, really hard to trade into. If you get caught out even slightly and stuck in the brambles, whew, it is brutal. It's brutal. Also, the cool thing about Pango with Dark Willow is if someone's trying to juke through the brambles, you can cut off the path they're trying to run. It will mispath them into a bramble, which is kind of a cool interaction that I just thought of. Next up is Hoodwink. I hate Hoodwink, dude. This hero is so miserable to play against. In the laning stage, it's miserable to play against. In the late game, it's miserable to play against. It might even be broken. I think people are just really bad with it, to be honest. But I honestly think this hero is just... the fact that the W also gives you no vision, I can't see. Like, literally mid-game, you get W'd, and you have no clue what's happening. You can't react. You don't know if you should press your BKB, your Yules, whatever it is, because you can't see anything. It's insane. On top of that, she's impossible to kill. So really, I do think Hoodwinked is one of the better 4s. Then we have Earth Spirit. Nothing really changed about this hero. I just don't think he's good as Shaker or Nyx necessarily. He's also harder to play in my opinion than those heroes, so overall I think he's like a solid roamer. I'm a big fan of a lot of these roamers here, but not nearly as good. Then we have Pango. This one is maybe like a bit of a player preference. I also think in order to pull off Pango 4, you have to have a player who is very greedy and knows how to play lanes with a hero that doesn't necessarily stomp the lane, right? When you pick Pango, you're not really necessarily a lane dominator. You're playing for a mid-game timer. You're trying to come online mid-game when your hero has roll, a disarm, disengage. It's a very useful mid-game hero. One of the best, I would say, especially at a level 6 spike. You know, you compare Pango to a hero like Mirana, for instance, level 6 spike, or even Willow. Even though Willow has a good 6 spike, I would say Pango is quite a bit stronger. Even Shaker, you know, Echo, while it's great, pre-blink, it's clunky. You know, you can get those good walk-in Echoes, but they're far and few between. And finally, for the A tier, we have Cuddle. This hero is being picked left and right by pros in the 5 and in the 4 role. Just lanes really well with heroes like Mars, Bristle, even Underlord. You kind of just shove the lane, shove the lane, shove the lane, shove the lane. It's like Mirana on crack. I mean, it literally is just Mirana on crack. I mean, you just, you know, she shoves the lane by airing the range creep. Cuddle just shoves the entire lane. He's like, you know, frick it. I don't care about your range. I'm just gonna kill the whole wave. On top of that, him having recall and blinding light with his ulti is just so good, dude. Recall is such a valuable spell. Funny enough, Cuddle is one of the lowest win rate heroes in your average pub, so I don't really recommend picking him unless you watch a game leap guide on the hero. Get your sub right now, yeah. All right, next up, let's get into the B tier. Starting off in the B tier, we gotta have a B hero, a hero that starts with the letter B, and that's Bounty. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend this hero if you're a pro, but let's be real, we're none of us are pros. I mean, we're just not yet. But right, so for Bounty, honestly, this hero has kind of stayed the same for the ages. Honestly, I think what I like about Bounty is when people play him as a tank. I've said this a couple times now. It's like, a lot of people go this like Aether Lens route. If you go drums, even Tranks, drums, wand, you can even go phase. One of my friends, shout out to Mike W. He goes like phase drums and just runs around with Janata, and frankly, you can just destroy backlines. You know what support players don't do in low MAR games, 9 times out of 10? They don't buy defensive items. Not like Glimmer, right? I'm not talking about Glimmer. Or sometimes that's even the case. They might not buy Glimmer, Ghost, or anything like that. They don't buy like fluffy hats or raindrops or, you know, like windlaces or tranquils and things like this. They have like mana boots and nothing else. And frankly, they just cannot man up to you or trade with you at all. Bounty is great in 1v1s against supports, and frankly, it's just effective in solo queue. You're also a really good, like, skirmish hero, and what are pubs? Pubs are just skirmishes over and over and over again. You just have to be good at skirmishing, so kite in and out as Bounty, gonna do well. Then we have Treant. I don't know, I think his Meteor Hammer is pretty strong, good against physical damage giraffes. Then we have Wind Ranger. Maybe could be a little bit higher. I think Wind is one of the best position for pub heroes in Dota for her ability to solo carry. What should you buy? Tranquil, Stick, Raindrops, Clarity, Maelstrom. Please don't go MKB. It's so much worse than it used to be. Maelstrom also got buffed by 5% proc chance. It is so much better now. Just go that build. Next up on the list, we have Spirit Breaker. I don't think this hero is bad, and I think it's solid. I I just don't believe it provides as much utility as a hero like Nyx or Shaker or even Earth Spirit, which is why it kind of falls down. Even though it does, you know, it's a much better tank than those heroes. It's a much better tank. I just think that utility and ability to lock down heroes like Puck, Storm, Ember, Void, all these spirits that are in the meta, and magical damage heroes that, you know, constantly just show up mid. I just think, you know, he's not really that good against the spirits. Then we have Phoenix. Really good with ranged heroes. I just think heroes like Rubik, Mirana, more consistent than Phoenix. Phoenix is a much harder laning stage. He doesn't really have a good wave shove, which makes his game a little bit harder. But this hero in the right games where they can't kill your egg is quite dominant. Tusk, just worse than the other roamers. Shadow Demon, I don't know who plays Shadow Demon, but he's solid. Next up, let's get into the C tier. Skywrath. This hero needs some buffs, honestly. I really want Skywrath to be viable because I think there's a lot of cool drafts where you can pick like Axe Skywrath or Beastmaster Skywrath, and you can have like a couple farming heroes on your team, and then Beast Skywrath are just running around solo killing people on like a 60-second cooldown, or, you know, Axe Skywrath on like a 60-second cooldown, you're just insta-killing people, and you're creating space that way, and I really do believe that strategy is quite effective. It just requires communication, which is why he's in the C tier, because unless you're really good at clicking a lot of buttons really quickly, and farming and scaling, and know how to win your lane, this hero can fall off very quickly, and it feels quite bad, especially when they get Glimmers, Yules, and Force Staffs. Then we have Lina. I don't know if she's actually this bad, I'll be real. This is one where I was like, I don't really know where to put her. I don't see her too much. Some teams are still picking her, but ever since her stun got nerfed quite hard, just haven't been liking this hero as much. Then we have Io. I guess if you're an Io spammer, it's okay, but even the pros are seemingly shying away from Io, and I think it's just after all the numbers, he's harder to trade with. Like, his Q is much worse now. You know, it's cool that his E gives spell amp, but like, it's a bit clunky. I don't know. Io just feels weird. He just feels weird, and they buffs the spirits really hard. But the problem is, if you're gonna max the spirits, then you kind of want to be a core. So 4 Io is much worse, right? Even if you do max spirits as 4 Io, I guess it could help your team farm a little bit. You could go greedy. It is an option. I think if you're gonna play Io, you probably should go that route as the 4. It is very greedy, but just might be the play. And finally, last but not least, I had to put one hero in D tier. I just had one. And honestly, this hero, I know it's not, all right, you're gonna be like, Speed, it's not actually D tier. The thing about roaming in Dota is like you can make everything work. Roaming and position 4, I would argue, is like the second or hardest role in Dota. Like maybe behind mid, right? And so considering that, like, any hero can, you can play any mage as a 4, and if you just understand the lane setups, you can likely have impact. Like, let's say you know you can Trellian bottom with an Oov and get kills, and then you pull correctly after that, and so on. Like, you can do stuff as a 4. Like, it's not, that's the cool thing about 4, it's so flexible as a role. And so Tiny is definitely not bad. He just got a nerf. I swear to God, this hero got a nerf like 8 times in a row. It's like cast range nerf, movement speed nerf, cast range nerf, movement speed nerf, avalanche nerf, toss nerf, nerf, or nothing. And so yeah, like, I mean, this hero's win rate has been bad as is. It got nerfed. I think it's just one of the harder heroes in Dota for people to play. It's very clunky. Toss is an extremely difficult spell to use properly. Avalanche is hard to use properly. His E is not good as a support, does nothing, and your ulti is some armor. It's nice. But alright, that's gonna be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. But yeah, that's gonna be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the gameleap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.